Greetings, mortal!
What the hell?
I am the great Ninja, master of the mystic arts!
Okay, what the hell do you want?
You have been chosen to hold a great power.
Why?
Well, basically because of that.
What, this? This is... I stole from a mad scientist at this convention I went to.
Yes, but within that sonic screwdriver is the power of a great being known as the Hipster Ninja.
Hipster Ninja?
Yes, a hero of the people. A man with the power to change the world as we know it.
How?
One bad adaptation at a time.
No, I mean, how in the hell does this turn me into a superhero?
Magic and science?
Good enough for me.
Fantastic! Now take that weapon, hold it above your head and cry, Hipster Ninja Power!
Hipster Ninja Power? Wow. That felt weird.
You'll get used to it.
So, what's my first assignment?
Your first task is...
Hey, I'm the Hipster Ninja, saving fandoms one bad adaptation at a time. Now, of course, when I say bad adaptation, that doesn't always mean a bad movie based on a good franchise. No. Sometimes it refers to an absolutely shit movie that has completely bastardized a long-established concept just to appeal to 13-year-old girls. I am, of course, referring to the sheer horror that is the Twilight Saga. Now, for any of you who are lucky enough to have never sat through the franchise, or those of you who maybe never have heard it, here's a quick spoiler-free background. Sorry.
Published by Connecticut author Stephanie Meyer in 2005, Twilight tells the story of 17-year-old Isabella Swan as she decides to live with her dad in Forks, Washington. Within her first week, she meets a strange boy named Edward Cohen. Through a series of not-so-subtle hints, she finds out Edward's dark secret and begins to fall in love with him. Because, come on, who would want to date a pasty one-y bitch like this?
These books became so successful that shortly after the release of Breaking Dawn, the final book in the series, Summit Entertainment decided to release a feature-length movie, casting Kristen Stewart as Isabella.
Just Bella.
Okay, sorry, Bella. And Robert Pattinson as Edward. So now that you have a basic background, and before the tryhards start storming the place, sharpen your stakes and pull out your garlic. This is Twilight.
The movie begins with a deer running through the woods.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
From there, we're introduced to Bella. She's apparently upset because she has to leave Arizona to move in with her father in Washington. I say apparently because for all we know, Kristen's thinking about puppies. Anyways, she drones on and on about everything she would miss as the opening credits go on, and we're introduced to her father, Charlie, played by Billy Burke.
The scene just drags on and on. Hold on, let me fast forward through this.
So while she adjusts to her new room, Bella notices Charlie talking to some guys outside and goes downstairs. We're then introduced to the Black family, Billy, played by Gil Birmingham, and Jacob, played by Taylor Lautner.
Hi, I'm Jacob. We used to make mud pies.
Yep, this is the kind of acting we have to deal with, people. I'm afraid.
Anyways, Billy and Jacob came by to give Bella her welcome home present, and Bella's just...
Alright.
ecstatic?
I'll roll you into the mud.
After I ram you in the ankle.
This is perfect.
And we come to problem number one with this movie.
Clearly, Kristen Stewart has no idea how to portray any emotion other than bland, so when she has to show any other emotion...
Well, let's just say it doesn't work.
While Stewart tries her best to look somewhat interested in her new gift, we're treated to one of 3 remotely interesting scenes in this movie. The bromance between Billy and Charlie.
Hold on. Hold on. Chuck is the short form of Charlie, right? So, would that mean... Huh.
You look so good to me.
Nobody get the joke.
I told you she'd love it. I'm down with the kids.
Oh yeah, dude. You're the bomb.
I mean, seriously, you could have made a movie about these two. Sure, it would have been lame, but it would have been 10 times more interesting than having to sit through the actors reading lines like this.
Okay. So you gotta double pump the clutch when you shift, but besides that, you should be good.
That's this one?
Yeah, right there.
So Bella drives off to her first day and makes an impression instantly.
Nice ride.
Thanks.
That was a good one, Jim.
Anyways, fast forward a little more, past some pointless one-dimensional characters that add nothing to the story, and we finally come to the moment all the little 12-year-old girls have been waiting for.
Well, the one that doesn't involve blood, marriage, or sex.
We're introduced to the Cullen family. I'd go ahead and introduce them one at a time, but honestly, there's really only one that people even give enough of a crap about. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this creepy-ass mofo is known as Edward Cullen, who apparently has every girl in the place swooning over him, yet doesn't think anyone is good enough for him.
What a prick.
Bella finds out that she has to sit next to Edward in class, but is shocked to find out that he's repulsed by her, even going so far as to trying to transfer out of that class.
Huh, wonder why.
That night, Bella calls her mother to let her know how her day's going.
But tell me more about your school. Now, what are the kids like?
Well, they're all very welcoming.
Oh my god, Mom, it's horrible. I'm socially accepted. Wait, no, that's too emotional for Stuart. Let me try that again. Oh my god, Mom, it's horrible. I'm socially accepted.
Seriously, I know I'm not in the target audience for this movie, but as a viewer, I'm supposed to feel a connection with this character?
I'm sorry, I can't do that movie. You need to work to make a connection.
The next day, Bella waits in the parking lot planning to confront Edward, but finds he's not there. Suddenly, we cut to a construction yard where a man is running from something, only to get caught by an awkward transition to Bella leaving for school a week later, where she notices... Yes, it appears Edward is back from his mysterious absence and proceeds to spat out more awkward, monotonous dialogue.
I'm beginning to sense a theme here.
Later, Bella's getting ready to leave for school when suddenly...
I'm so sorry, I panicked.
Bella! She's fine, she's hardly got a scratch on her. What about the guy who was driving? I mean, he looks like he took a nasty hit there.
Charlie comes into the hospital to find Bella's okay, and we're introduced to Dr. Carlisle Cullen, played by Peter Facinelli. After getting the A-OK to leave, Bella confronts Edward about the accident, which Edward suspiciously brushes off. That night, Bella has a dream that Edward is watching her while she sleeps.
But we all know that couldn't happen. I mean, vampires can't enter someone's house without being invited. Right?
The next day, Bella is sitting in the cafeteria when suddenly...
Edible art.
More awkward dialogue from our leads.
Edward basically tells her that she should stay away from him, and Bella starts her usual tell me what you are spiel, and lists off some pretty lame theories.
It's all superhero stuff, right? What if I'm not the hero? What if I'm the bad guy?
You're not.
I can totally tell that from the few weeks you've been bitching at me. Bella decides that now is a good time to ask Edward out, but shocker, he blows her off. We then cut to a beach where Bella's basically shooting the shit with some pointless characters when Jacob shows up and tells her a story about the Cullen family in this beach area, which happens to be owned by his family.
This scene does have some significance as one of the lines hints at a major plot point in the next movie, but I'm not talking about that.
Spoilers.
Basically, the Cullens' ancestors were caught hunting on Jacob's ancestors' land, but they basically made an agreement that the Cullens would not be exposed just so long as they stayed off Quillette land. Meanwhile, we cut to an abandoned dock, where we meet our main villains for the next 3 movies, James, Laurent, and Victoria, who proceed to kill a random fisherman.
Back to the plot.
Bella decides to look up Jacob's ancestors, the Quillettes, on Google.
which, by the way, is actually a deus ex machina in this movie.
And finds a bookstore in Seattle that might give her some more answers. The next day, Bella starts talking with Scott Pilgrim's sister about why Edward isn't at school when they decide to head down to Seattle and look at prom dresses, which Bella quickly ditches to go to the bookstore. By herself.
But hey, I'm sure she'll be fine, just as long as she doesn't start, cutting through the sketchy part of... Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
So Bella gets surrounded by some generic drunk guys when suddenly...
Come with me if you want to live.
The douchebags try to taunt Edward, but he makes them back off like this. So with those guys backing off, Edward takes Bella back to her friends and tells them that he was going to take her to get something to eat.
Yeah. I should eat something.
Yes, eating is good.
At the restaurant, Bella and Edward pick up where they left off. Tell me who you are. No.
Moving on.
Edward proceeds to tell Bella that he feels very protective of her, but somehow I think this scene has a different tone.
Don't believe me? Well, let me fix that.
How did you know where I was?
I didn't.
Right?
What? Don't leave.
Did you follow me?
I feel very protective of you.
Yep. Didn't think about that, did you, Twihards?
After dinner, Edward drives Bella home when she notices an ambulance outside the police station and decides to check it out. Turns out that fisherman that got killed was a friend of Charlie's. As they wheel away the stiff, Bella has an epiphany and runs home to consult the Google gods.
And what do they tell her?
Vampire.
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
Yeah, these guys are not vampires. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe in this universe, but Stephenie Meyer took way too many liberties with the concept of the vampire. Case in point...
This is what I am.
These vampires do not burn in sunlight. They sparkle. No explanation why, just...
Ooh, shiny.
This is the skin of a killer, Bella.
No. This is the skin of a killer. That is a walking diamond store.
Edward proceeds to tell her every reason why she should stay the hell away from him.
Yeah, this coming from a guy who...
Openly sneaks into her room at night.
Which, by the way, shouldn't even be possible, because he was never invited into the house. But hey, what do I know about vampires?
A couple of days go by and Edward explains more about this universe's idea of a vampire.
Including one idea that, I have to admit, does sound kind of clever.
The venom was excruciating.
That's right. These vampires have venom in their teeth that painfully forces the change onto a human, instead of the more traditional... By the way, that clip, 5.5 minutes long, and still a better love story than Twilight.
Edward, however, also explains that turning a human into a vampire is difficult because they go into a frenzy as soon as they taste blood.
Subtle foreshadowing, guys.
He then explains that his family doesn't kill humans because they think of themselves as vegetarian vampires.
Hey, after seeing a sparkling vampire that can enter people's houses without being invited in, that doesn't shock me.
Sometime later, Edward decides that after a grand total of maybe one date, it's time for Bella to meet his family.
Jeez, dude, pushy much?
But before that, we get a little more Billy and Charlie time.
Homemade fish fry. Good man.
Seriously, can't this movie be about these two? No? Whatever.
That night, Edward takes Bella to his house just outside of town, and we're reintroduced to the rest of the Cullens, as well as to Esme, played by Elizabeth Reeser.
Bella, we're making Italiano for you. We're making Italiano for you.
My God, and I thought Kristen Stewart's acting was bad?
Molto bene.
No. You are not allowed to say those words. In fact, there are only two people in the world that can make that line sound cool. One is the guy who plays Ezio in Assassin's Creed, and the other is...
Anyways, Edward decides to give Bella the tour, which ends in his room, where we take part in some more awkward dialogue between the two.
No bed?
Hey, save it for the fourth movie.
He then proceeds to grab Kristen by the arm and take part in some more pointless filler, solidifying their relationship.
Of course, I use the term relationship loosely, as these two have all the chemistry of a brick.
And then we're shown some more awkward conversations between Bella and her parents. Oh, and Stephanie Meyer. Suddenly, the fillers are interrupted by...
Whoa, dude, what the hell? Seriously, no, you do not do that. You could not be any creepier if you tried.
I like watching you sleep. It's kind of fascinating to me.
I'm sorry, teenage girls wrote fan fictions about marrying this guy? Why? He's not sexy, he's freaking bonkers!
Anyways, Creepy McBatshit here decides that he wants to try something out, and they finally share their first kiss. Until Bella decides that she wants to go all the way. This in turn scares the crap out of Edward, and he backs the hell off. The next day, Bella decides it's time for Charlie to meet Edward, and we get what has to be the funniest scene in the entire movie.
Alright. Bring him in.
Can we see that again?
Alright. Bring him in.
Hilarious!
Anyways, Edward meets Charlie and then takes Bella to play baseball with his family as we finally reach the movie's third act.
Also, this is one of those scenes where I have to admit, it does look kind of awesome. Seriously, take a look for yourself.
Okay, now I see why you need the thunder.
This sequence is friggin' awesome. It shows off all of the Cullen's abilities perfectly.
Plus, I'm a bit of a sucker for Muse.
Suddenly, the game is interrupted by the three villains, and we get one of the only scenes with proper tension as the Cullens try to get rid of them before they find out about Bella.
Wow, shit's about to get real.
Sadly, nothing happens as Carlisle suggests that the three can join in as Bella and Edward were just about to leave, when suddenly...
You brought a snack.
Yes, James, played by that guy who plays a douchebag in every movie or TV show he's ever been in, discovers that one of these things is not like the other. Edward gets pissy, and Laurent decides that it's time to leave. Carlisle tells Edward to get Bella out of there, and we find out that James, a tracker vampire, wants Bella now because he wants to stick it to Edward. Why?
My reaction to field set him off. I just made this most exciting game ever.
Ah, yes. The old two for flinching. You devious bastard.
So Edward tells Bella to pack some clothes and be a total bitch to Charlie. Then they drive off to his home, where Laurent tells them everything we already know. Suddenly, we're in a garage as this movie finally decides to move its ass. Bella goes off with Jasper and Alice, while Edward goes with the rest of his family to throw James and Victoria off their trail. Unfortunately, this doesn't work as James catches on quick, and through sheer convenience, captures Bella's mother and threatens to kill her unless Bella meets him in Phoenix alone. An obvious trap that Bella stupidly walks into.
Our heroine, ladies and gentlemen.
So, shockingly, Bella's mother isn't there, and what does James do?
Well, what does any bad guy do when he finally captures the hero?
He starts monologuing.
Basically, he says what we've already been told twice now. He wants to kill Bella in order to piss off Edward. Bella tries to run away, but utterly fails as James throws her into a wall, breaks her leg, and bites her just as Edward comes in to make the save. Edward beats the living crap out of James, but Carlisle shows up, calms him down with a corny one-liner,
Remember who you are.
and convinces him to go to Bella while the rest of his family kills James off screen.
That was anticlimactic.
But we're not done yet, as Edward has to decide whether or not to let the venom from James's bite turn Bella into a vampire. But Edward won't have it and decides to go with Plan B. Suck the venom out and almost kill her. Long story short, Bella survives and wakes up in the hospital a little while later. Edward tells Bella they shouldn't be together, which she takes pretty well.
Are you... No. No. How? I don't even know what you're saying. How? What are you talking about? You want me to go away? I can't. No, I can't. I can't just leave you.
You know, I bet that was the same reaction she gave him when they broke up for real.
But Bella's reaction, if you could call it that, convinces Edward to stay with her.
Okay, movie's over, right?
Sadly, no, as the end of the movie goes a little like this. Edward takes Bella to prom, Jacob sets up a potential love triangle.
Spoilers.
They dance, and then we get a little sequel bait. The end.
So, how is this movie?
Well, on a technical level, it's just crap. While there are some interesting scenes, they aren't enough to save it from the awful writing and boring cinematography. I'm serious, this is nothing but like gray and white angles.
The film's biggest problem, however, has got to be with its leads.
Robert Pattinson just plays the Edward character too intensely, and it just makes him look creepy half the time.
I still don't know how people can find that attractive. As for Stewart...
She put jack shit into this role, and in an interview, though I could be misreading this, she actually said that she preferred playing Snow White over Bella because Snow White was a more proactive heroine.
However, the real question is it true to the original?
Honestly, from what I can remember from reading the book, it seems pretty damn close.
However, that does not mean that I think this is a good movie.
Personally, I find the book to be the lesser of the two evils, though not by much, as I could at least pretend the characters were somewhat interesting.
Honestly, if I had to recommend anything from this movie, it would have to be its soundtrack. And that's just because the music department did such a fantastic job finding music that fit with the whole aesthetic of the movie.
Hell, Decode, the movie's theme song, it does a decent job at giving some kind of insight into Bella's relationship with Edward.
But I'm sorry, when both of your main characters completely damn the franchise, saying they either hate the characters, or that they wouldn't even touch the book if they hadn't been cast, you know you have a problem. I'm the Hipster Ninja, saving fandoms one bad adaptation at a time.
The truth is hiding